So what I'm saying is that these conquerors, they divided us so much that they started lying to us so much. I myself, I'm hoping that I will get a chance to travel in different parts of Africa, so that I can really speak with an authority over what is actually happening. But at this point in time, we need to start our own institutions. We need to build our own schools where we can train our young people. And in the process of training them, we can talk about these things and inject them in their minds that they are not supposed to run away from themselves. Because if you run away from yourself, then you become a zombie. You are no longer the person you are running to, and you are no longer the person you are running from. So we need to find a way where, if any integration we need to do it among ourselves. We need to learn. I need to learn some Twi, and I need to learn other languages.
I need to learn Zulu.
Yes, so that we don't have to depend on the slave master's language to communicate.
In Yoruba tradition, when it comes to divination, right, they believe that except the day one was born and the day one dies, there's not a single event that cannot be altered, forecast or altered. Is that applicable to Zulu tradition?
Well, in a way, it is applicable, but at the same time, it's the interpretation of one. You know how they look at things themselves, and people come out with the different answers, but they are similar. You know, so I cannot say that it is not applicable at all. There is always something which brings us together, and all what we need is to be physically together and share all this information, which is in abundance in the entire continent. But we have to harvest it and put it together, and then really know what the other brother is thinking and how we can put it together in a way that we can teach our children to have respect for Africa and respect for their ancestors. All this is important, and that molds a man, that molds a woman.
But do you know that when Europeans want to use, not they want to use, Europeans have propagated against ancestral worship. And the reason why I believe that they are propagating against ancestral worship is like to tell, you know, especially most confused Africans, that we don't know who God is.
Well, the whole idea is to discredit the African system. But the African system is the foundation of all systems. So history is his story. Whatever suits him, because he is in the powerful seat, he puts it on paper. And even if it's a lie, after he puts it on paper so many times, people begin to believe that it is the truth.
When I was growing up, there used to be a say in the village, the book no lie. Book no lie. When I look back, I laugh at that. I said, book is the biggest thing that ever lies.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but when they write it down, as you say, because it's written, any ignorant person who reads it will think that it is the truth.
And you have to remember also that there was a lot of physical force which was entrenched in the minds of the people, that if you are not agreeable to this, we may kill you. And a lot of people died in the name of Western religion, in the name of Islam. And, and these are the things which we seem to forget, and we turn around because of fear. We follow the enemy when we should be actually fighting him.
In my tradition, which is called Balkavako, you read it in my book, when a child is born, before the child is given a name, they have to find out what the name should be. When that child grows to a certain age whereby they have to initiate him to a protective deity, they have to find out which protective deity wants to protect the child.
Mm-hmm.
And they do this through a prophetic deity called Bokoloko. And that will tell them which particular deity will protect this child, what kind of instrument, like maybe a bracelet, mm-hmm. something like a horn for the child to wear, you know, before they initiate the child to that protective deity. What is the Zulu tradition?
Well, the Zulu tradition is that the elder of the family, especially for the boys, mm-hmm. he is the one who chooses the name.
Okay.
If he is still alive. And then second in command will take over if they are the oldest man, like the grandfather is no longer, is deceased.
Right.
And then he will give the name. And then the names, they come because of certain incidents.
Right.
They say, for instance, the behavior of the mother.
Okay.
They might name the child to remember the behavior of the mother.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way the child looks.
Okay.
If he looks like a fighter and all that.
Warrior.
A warrior,
mm-hmm.
he will more or less get a name which complements his physical appearance.
Okay.
So it's a judgment of the elders what name they are going to give to the child.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are certain things which are done in the pen, the
okay.
cattle pen.
Okay.
For instance, my people, they have to vaccinate the finger
mm-hmm.
and put the blood into the cow dung.
All right.
And some, they even cut the finger. But from what I'm told, if you try to go and find out if that piece is still there, it's no longer there.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that the ancestors accept
right.
that child.
Okay.
You know. So that's what I was trying to tell you at the beginning, that each and every clan have its own traditional way of, especially when it comes to the birth and the passing away.
Right.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it works in the Zulu tradition.
Is sacrifice a centerpiece of the Zulu tradition?
Very much so. Actually, there is no ceremony without a sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
We use the cattle.
Okay.
Or in case if an elder passes away in the family, we take one of the oxen, slaughter, and the people who come to assist in digging the grave, because we don't dig the grave while a person is still alive in Africa.
Right.
Well, in the Zulu tradition.
I doubt whether any African nation where indigenous African live would dig a grave before a person dies.
The only time I heard of that was about the ancient kings.
Okay.
Where they build the pyramids.
Right.
When he's born.
Uh-huh.
You know, that would be, I mean, it's a very complicated situation where they have to bring in certain ornaments and so forth
right.
when the king passes away. So they start doing that. But for an ordinary man, you know, the grave is dug the day when the person is being buried, and no one is paid for that. That's another thing with the African, the Zulu tradition. People are told what they need to do.
Okay.
For a ceremony like a wedding, nobody goes from house to house inviting people. People find out that there is a wedding, they go. It is not like you are intruding.
Right.
It is traditional.
Right.
And then the part of the cow or the ox that is slaughtered is allocated for the people who come as uninvited guests.
Right.
But they are invited because that part of the cow which is given to the people, they don't ask for nothing when they come to bury somebody.
Right.
Yeah. So that's part of the communal work where people assist one another. It's just like when you are an elder in the village who perform ceremonies like the wedding ceremonies.
Right.
You don't get paid for that.
No.
But they give you a special beer for you, and your daughters, they will pay more of a dowry.
Yes.
Because of the position that you hold in
your
society.
Status. Right.
You know. So that's how we do it. I don't know how they do it in Ghana.
Well, I just want to support you on the ancient, the tomb building by the kings.
Yes.
In Ghana, we still have that, especially the northern part where I come from. What happens is this: the king will build a room, a house for his burial. But the people who do the grave digging, they are a special order. They call them bayasi or undertakers. If a person is not there, they cannot dig a grave. So the king has the right to build the room that he is going to be buried in, but they cannot dig his grave. Right. It is after he's died that, you know, then they will announce that he's dead before the undertakers can go to dig the grave.
Right.
Right. So, like the ancient Kemetic history, whereby the buildings, the temples were built, the tombs were built, you know, for the kings.
Yes.
Right. We still have that.
All right.
We still have that.
That's beautiful.
Right. Going back to the mystery system, African mystery system, that sometimes we just don't even understand how our ancestors, how the people who look like us understand how to perform certain rituals. They look like this, but when it's time for them to perform the ritual, they look different. They behave different, right? My question is, how did traditionalists know that blood used in a sacrifice yields results?
Well, you see, the thing is that certain people, they are gifted, and the ancestors, they rest within them and give them a wisdom a step ahead of everybody. And when they listen to the music, like our traditional music,
right,
they hear other sounds which you don't hear because they are empowered
right,
by our ancestors to be able to reach out where nobody can.
Right.
When the African traditionalists start telling their stories about you, it's amazing.
It is.
But it is true that you know, the things that they will be telling you have happened to you, and they can tell you what is about to happen.
Yes.
So these are the powers which are invested in selected people. And they are so powerful that even in these European schools, the children will be there. And when those spirits start moving into that child,
Yes.
that child will start screaming, and that means that something is happening.